Okay, let's unpack this. We're tackling a real consumer dilemma today with the Mackie Thump215XT powered speaker.
Right.
It's priced around $500, but it's promising features and power you'd usually see in speakers that cost double that.
Exactly.
So our mission here is to figure out for you, is this the budget champion everyone's hoping for, or is that low price a huge warning sign?
And this isn't just about reading a spec sheet. This is really about consumer transparency.
Yeah.
We need to figure out where the real value is and, maybe more importantly, where the compromises were made to hit that price.
Let's start with the specs then, because on paper, this thing is immediately impressive. It competes with some real heavy hitters.
It really does.
We're talking 1,400 watts of Class D power, a max SPL of 129 dB, and it claims to hit a low frequency of 40 hertz.
And the 40 hertz number is the really surprising part.
Why is that so unusual for a budget speaker?
Well, budget speakers, they usually struggle below 50 hertz. The low end just turns to mud.
Right.
So to hit 40 hertz cleanly, you need good components or some really clever engineering. And that Class D power is key, too. It's super efficient, which is how they keep the weight down.
It's only 35 pounds, which is a huge deal for anyone who has to lug their own gear around.
A huge deal. Lighter than most 15-inch speakers out there.
And it's not just the raw power. They piled on a ton of software features since the 2022 update.
Yes, the digital processing is where they really went all in. You get a working feedback eliminator, which is
A lifesaver on stage.
a total lifesaver, and music ducking, so it automatically lowers the music when you talk.
Plus the 4 voicing modes: music, live, club, and monitor.
Precisely. And all that tells you that Mackie's investment was heavily skewed towards the digital side, trying to give you maximum utility for the money.
Okay, but this is where the story takes a pretty sharp turn.
Here we go.
Because the user reviews tell a very different story from that polished feature list. The biggest complaint, by far, is the Bluetooth control app Thump Connect.
The Achilles heel.
One buyer just flat out called it garbage. And if you look online, you see widespread connection problems. It's everywhere.
And that's the problem. When you make a product so dependent on software features, that software has to be rock solid.
Absolutely.
We saw other reliability issues, too. One buyer said the power light just died after only 20 hours.
20 hours.
20 hours. And when he contacted support, Mackie's response was, and I'm quoting here, "Ship it back on your dime with no return label."
Wait, on your dime? For a warranty repair? That's a huge red flag, isn't it?
It is. It really raises questions about the true cost of affordable. We also saw notes about the physical build, like the exposed knobs on the back, just waiting to get snapped off in transport.
So let's talk about the sound, because this is where it gets really divided. Mobile DJs seem pretty happy with it for the price.
Right. For pre-recorded music, the volume is there. They like the punch.
But live musicians, a completely different story. We saw bass players and forum users call the sound gross for live use. They mentioned phase cancellation issues. What does that actually sound like to you, the listener?
It just means the sound gets muddy and loses its punch. The clarity disappears.
How does that happen?
The sound waves from the woofer and the tweeter get out of sync. So instead of adding up, they start to, cancel each other out. You lose the crispness you need for live instruments.
And that's the clarity you're paying for with the more expensive QSC or Yamaha speakers, right? They engineer that out.
Exactly. The Thump is all about volume and features, not necessarily audiophile fidelity for a live band. That's the trade-off.
So let's boil this down. What does this all mean for you? The Thump215XT, it does deliver on sheer power and features for $500.
For sure.
If you're a DJ or you need a loudspeaker for a small venue playing tracks, it's a really strong contender.
But connecting this to the bigger picture, it is a textbook trade-off. You get the great specs, that's the promise. But the compromise is in reliability, the build, and that pristine audio clarity.
So if you're a professional who needs something absolutely bulletproof for a live show,
You're going to have to spend more. It's that simple.
which leaves you with a final thought to consider. In the world of pro audio, is a product really affordable if the hidden cost is constant technical frustration and customer service that, frankly, lets you down?